future. So just have to lay the ground for it right now. Yeah, I have to say that's pretty much it. Because I haven't prepared an ending slide for this, just thought about it.
Time for loads of questions.
Is there time for questions or not? Ah, so, okay.
Yeah, we're booked until 3. We're booked until 3.
Until 3? Oh, okay, 20 minutes. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we've got like 20 minutes for questions.
One thing I have to say about this, that I'm just the one who presenting this idea. The development behind this was done by persons in our teams, by these 43 team members I mentioned before. So I can't answer all questions. I can mention most of them. So if you want, ask. If you need some details also, I could show you them afterwards on my laptop. I've got a lot of technical data and stuff and images like this.
So if anyone has questions, can they just go up to the mics and just go for it?
Even to other topics we had before, like the rover or so.
Yep, rover, you know, the communications side, the whole thing. Go for it. Come on, you've got questions.
Otherwise, we will be at our booth till 8 p.m. today. So no problem, no hurry in this regard. All
right, I have a question.
Okay, absolutely. Shoot it.
So if I wanted to, say, borrow some nodes to create an enormous radio telescope, kind of like, presumably that could be done at some later date.
It depends on how you build up the network in regards of management, not in regards of technology. In technology, it's all dumb nodes connected together, and you say, you do this, and you do this. One idea to do the management, right now all nodes are built up by us ourselves, but if we start incorporating different nodes, one thing I didn't mention, the concept itself is completely built to incorporate existing high-gain antennas completely. No problem. You could connect the VLA to this network, no problem. This is so completely, all protocols are developed for this especially. Okay, and to conclude in this, I think the most fairest approach would be to give everyone a share according to the link stations he donated to the network. For example, if someone is providing hosting space for 15 link stations, he could get a link pool of 15 stations. And the stations aren't fixed. Mars is not communicating with station 21, 23, 24, 25. It's communicating with 10 stations. Don't matter which one is what, because they are rotating. So yeah, you get a number and yeah, you're just borrowing it, so for example. But you have to provide something for this. So I think it sounds like a good approach.
My inner astronomer. I did astronomy. I did astronomy and space science at university, so this is fascinating. Okay, we have some questions. Go ahead, guys. Hit it.
Quick question. You probably need to synchronize all these stations in some way so they can transmit their data at the right time. How exactly do you synchronize them, and what precision do you need to have them synchronized?
That's quite a complicated topic. Let's do it in the other way around. Synchronizing them on the receiving side is a lot easier to explain for everyone. So if we receive data packets from, let's say, from the moon, and you receive them distributed on... Okay, you take this big part again. So every station has a GPS receiver. The GPS receiver is equipped with to get the current position and to get a relatively exact time. So every package that is received is packed up into, let's say, 2 megabyte chunks and stamped with a timestamp. This timestamp will be transmitted to the server, and the server will be able, we've already tested this, the timestamp provided by the GPS network is detailed enough to do what we want to do. So it's a little complicated to explain in this regard. But all packets are timestamped, and with the timestamps they can be reorganized so they are a fully stream at the end of data.
So your source for the timing is actually a GPS receiver, not you're not using NTP, for example, or something like that. You're just using an NTP receiver.
Sorry, I have to say that I didn't understand this correctly acoustically.
Sorry.
No problem.
So you're using a GPS receiver to for your timing source. You're not using NTP
to get the time
internet.
code. Yes. to get the timing.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hello.
Okay.
Did I understand correctly that you are already past the prototype stage? You've already got quite a few link stations deployed and becoming more and more stations. And
yeah, we've just done a lot more than 1 year about the theory work with this, because the theory behind this is very complicated, all the formulas. And we started developing our prototype link stations, and we've showed it to some companies where we know they could be interested, not in buying them, but in helping us building a test network. We are talking about, okay, the prototyping network we are building up will be using amateur radio frequency only. This does do some severe limitations of this, because it's not allowed to transmit encrypted data on amateur radio frequencies. This is something that's quite clear right now. So in the first prototype network, you can only do what you are allowed to do as an amateur radio specialist. Yes.
And what's the time frame to get the first real space communication up?
If it's well for me, and we don't have the X Prize, then next month or so. But as we are doing the X Prize beside this, I think my personal goal is by the end of next year. Maybe we can do a follow-up presentation on our progress if you're interested.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. The first question is to your economical situation. You said you just need 15 million euros to build this.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you're referring to the first presentation where we talked.
To your first presentation.
Okay.
And I wonder, does this calculation include salary for people, like engineering costs, or is it just the cost for the material?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You mean the paying for the manpower we use.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just look at our name, part-time scientists.
Yeah.
I think it just answers it. Not that I want to answer it anymore, but it just says it. We're doing it in our free time. And I personally have the opinion that people who work on something in their free time are much more motivated than they were when they're a normal workday.
I totally agree. Definitely. But I guess this is also the reason why you only need 15 million and not just
No, not really. We've calculated all the manpower cost in our regard with a relatively small teams. I think about 50 people, and we came up with about 3 million. So it's not that much. We should have 3 million, but it's compared to numbers like 60 billion or so. You see, it's quite a small amount in this regard.
Okay.
It's just one thing. We are not going to buy a new room, set in 50 people, and let's do some talkings for a year. Just be getting to work. That's all we really want to do.
Okay. The second small question is all this stuff you send up in space, all this materials usually needs to be certified or like tested for space engineering. Do you use this material only, or is it easy to get access to this kind of material?
Yeah, that is a very good question. Okay, for our rover prototype development, we try to use as much as high-real certified components as possible. But to do this with a rover prototype, it's really expensive. But now comes the interesting part. As we have Texas Instruments as our partners, we are getting a lot of high-real certified components from them for free. So all our electronic devices are, let's say, not certified for high real, but they should be. So if I should try to certify them, they could pass. So this is our goal. We're always building them in a way, not the current prototype. This is, I have to say, but all intended prototypes always feature most high real components only. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, in future it will be only high real certified components, yes.
Hello. I just wanted to ask, with the many distributed link stations you have, how do you get around the problem of differing quality between links, say because of different types of hardware or because of weather effects?
I think you're talking about the issue with the ionization of atmosphere?
But with many different link stations, they won't all have the same quality. So
No. Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, this is something you have to always keep in, like in cloud computing systems, you always have to keep in backups. You can't say, okay, I just need 3 stations to do communications, so you're just associating 6 stations or 5 with it. So if you have the problem with ionization of atmosphere, that's why I talked about it, because someday at noon If you have in summer, you can get